On a cold and quiet Christmas Eve night, a 12-year-old girl named Talia wandered through the desolate streets of the city. Her tattered clothes barely shielded her from the biting winter air, and her unkempt hair reflected the hardships of her life on the streets. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, which hadn't been filled for days, but a faint glimmer of hope still shone in her tired eyes. As Talia roamed, she passed brightly lit houses adorned with festive decorations, where families laughed and celebrated together. The joyous sound of children's laughter filled the air, and Talia couldn't help but imagine herself part of those warm, lively scenes, surrounded by blinking lights, a table full of delicious food, and a tree overflowing with gifts. For a brief moment, her imagination offered her a small escape from her harsh reality. Searching for anything to ease her hunger, she rummaged through trash bins, uncovering nothing but stale chips and rotting fruit. Her search eventually led her to the bustling city center, where sparkling Christmas trees lit up the night. Talia stood mesmerized by the magical glow, momentarily forgetting her struggles. Yet, the sight of happy families taking photos together soon brought her back to her loneliness, deepening her yearning to belong. Wandering further, she reached an affluent neighborhood, where grand mansions displayed the most stunning Christmas decorations she had ever seen. The air here was filled with the tantalizing aroma of holiday feasts and the distant sound of cheerful carols. Though her surroundings were enchanting, Talia's focus remained on survival. Spotting the large bins outside the lavish homes, she thought, what's trash to them could be treasure to me. Determined, she began sifting through the garbage and, to her astonishment, found remnants of a holiday feast, slices of turkey, pieces of cake, and other treats she had never dared dream of tasting. Her heart swelled with gratitude and disbelief. Eyes sparkling with emotion, she almost cried at the sheer joy of this small miracle, her very own unexpected Christmas feast. Yet, Talia's night was far from over. As she continued exploring, her hands brushed against something unexpected, a lost wallet. When she opened it, her gaze fell upon a photograph inside, and what she saw changed her life forever. It was a picture of herself, tucked into the wallet of someone she had never met but who would soon become a pivotal part of her story. On that freezing night, Talia had no idea her life was about to take an extraordinary turn. Shivering beside a dumpster, she stumbled upon something completely unexpected, a wallet. Although curious, she set it aside for the moment, driven by her overwhelming hunger. She couldn't believe how much food the wealthy discarded. As she eagerly devoured a slice of leftover cake, she thought, why didn't I search for food here before? I could feast like this every day, Talia's life had been a series of hardships since her earliest memories. Born and raised on the streets, she had no knowledge of her parents or their fate. She found solace with a group of homeless individuals who treated her like family. Over time, however, members of the group drifted apart, seeking safer havens in a process they called hunting. These searches often brought them into conflict with gangs or other homeless groups, making them perilous endeavors. Many never returned. Talia was the youngest among them, fiercely protected by her companions. But one fateful day, everything changed. A member of the group returned from a hunt, pursued by an angry gang. Chaos erupted. The group scattered, fleeing in all directions to escape the impending violence. Talia was told to run without looking back. Against her instincts, she obeyed, but not before witnessing the gang destroy their makeshift shelter, her only home. The attackers set fire to their belongings, and many of her companions didn't survive. Terrified and alone, Talia ran as far as her legs would carry her, ending up in the vast cityscape of Los Angeles. For nearly a year, she survived on her own, the chance of reuniting with her former family practically non-existent. Christmas had always been just another day of survival for her, though her group had once tried to make the holiday special, sharing what little they had in a humble celebration. Now, as she sat by the dumpsters surrounded by discarded delicacies, she allowed a single tear to fall. You all would have loved this feast, she thought, reminiscing about her lost friends. After satisfying her hunger, Talia finally turned her attention back to the wallet she had found. Holding it in her hands, she whispered to herself, "Maybe there's some money in here to help me survive a few more days." She cautiously opened it, hoping for cash. What she discovered instead left her frozen in disbelief. Inside was a photo, a man in a sharp suit standing beside an elegant woman, who appeared to be his wife. But what shook Talia to her core was the sight of herself, smiling between them in the photograph. Her mind raced. What? How is this possible? Talia stared at the photograph, her small hands trembling. Her knees buckled as she sank to the ground, eyes locked on the image of herself nestled between a couple who appeared wealthy and refined. This is me," she whispered, struggling to comprehend how she could be in the picture. Her mind raced with questions. Are these my parents? Why don't I remember them? Her thoughts swirled in a storm of confusion and disbelief. The discovery shattered the fragile reality she had known, leaving her grasping for answers. Meanwhile, just a few streets away, a family was preparing to celebrate Christmas in their grand home. The Alistar family, owners of the prominent Alistar pharmacies, were renowned for their immense wealth, thanks in part to the success of their popular painkiller, Liana. Aurelio Alistar, the family patriarch, was a self-made millionaire, and his wife Camille and 12-year-old daughter Zoe lived in luxury alongside him. This particular Christmas Eve was a special one. For the first time, the family would celebrate without guests, and Zoe had taken it upon herself to make the evening extraordinary. From the decorations to the festive meal, every detail had been meticulously planned by the young girl. Her parents couldn't hide their pride. "You've outdone yourself, Zozo," her father said with a playful smile. "She really has," Camille added, admiring her daughter's efforts. Despite the warmth of the moment, a quiet sorrow lingered in the air. Christmas for the Alistars had always been bittersweet, marked by a tragedy that had occurred 12 years prior. As they stood admiring the table, Zoe broke the silence with a somber question. "Do you think she would have liked all this? The decorations, the dinner, everything?" Aurelio placed a hand on her shoulder, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "She would have loved it, sweetheart. You're her big sister, and she would have adored you." Camille nodded, wiping away her own tears before speaking. "But let's not let sadness take over tonight. She wouldn't have wanted that." The family moved to the table, where a feast awaited. The house was filled with music, the aroma of delicious food, and the glow of Christmas lights. Yet, despite the cheerful setting, the Alistars carried the weight of a painful memory. 12 years earlier, on Christmas Eve, a devastating event had changed their lives forever. That night, as Aurelio and Camille prepared to introduce their newborn twin daughters to their extended family, tragedy struck. Their home was broken into, and in the chaos, one of their infant daughters was kidnapped. Despite pouring vast resources into finding her, their efforts yielded no results. For Aurelio, the loss was a wound that never healed. "No amount of money can fill the emptiness she left behind," he had confided in Camille during countless sleepless nights. Each Christmas served as a bittersweet reminder of the joy they'd lost, even as they tried to create new memories with their surviving daughter, Zoe. And now, unknowingly, their missing piece, Talia, was just a short distance away, clutching a photograph that held the key to their reunion. Aurelio often found himself gazing at the single photo he had of his twin daughters, Zoe and Liana, his heart heavy with unanswered questions. He wondered where his missing daughter might be, if she was safe, or if she had found peace in the heavens. His wife, Camille, was equally distraught, repeatedly begging him to find their child. The loss of Liana left an unfillable void in their lives, a pain no remedy could soothe, not even the painkiller named in her honor, Liana, produced by Aurelio's pharmaceutical empire. The investigation into the break-in and kidnapping yielded no answers. All evidence pointed to the crime being orchestrated by a rival gang attempting to push Aurelio out of the pharmaceutical market. Yet, despite the devastating loss, he refused to bow to their threats, a decision that came at an unimaginable cost. Years passed, and hope dwindled. Zoe, now 12 years old, knew their family couldn't remain trapped in grief. With a maturity beyond her years, she encouraged her parents to host a Christmas dinner in memory of her sister. "I know she wouldn't want us to be sad forever," Zoe said earnestly. "She'd want us to be happy, to be a joyful family." Her words struck a chord with her parents, and they allowed Zoe to take the lead in planning the evening. Energized by the opportunity, she poured her heart into the preparations, determined to honor her sister's memory. None of them, however, could have foreseen how fate was about to intervene on that Christmas Eve. As the Alistar family gathered around the beautifully decorated table, Aurelio spoke with heartfelt emotion. He expressed his gratitude for the chance to celebrate together, despite the pain they had endured. Camille followed with words of appreciation for Zoe, praising her daughter's efforts to make the evening special. Just as they were about to begin the meal, the doorbell rang, interrupting the serene atmosphere. Confused, Zoe glanced at her parents. "Who could that be? I didn't invite anyone." Aurelio stood, saying, "Start without me. I'll see who it is." Curiosity piqued, he walked to the door. When he opened it, he froze. The world around him seemed to vanish as he stared in disbelief at the figure standing before him. "Who is it, dear?" Camille called from the dining room, concern creeping into her voice. Receiving no answer, she went to investigate. When she reached the door, she, too, was rendered speechless. Standing before them was a little girl wrapped in a tattered blanket, shivering in the cold. Her tiny hands clutched a wallet she timidly extended toward Aurelio. "Good evening," she said in a small voice. "Are you Aurelio Alistar?" It was Talia, the lost child they had been mourning for over a decade. Talia stood at the doorstep, shivering beneath her tattered blanket. In her small, trembling hands, she held out a wallet. "I think you dropped this," she said softly. Aurelio stared in disbelief, unable to form words. Camille, equally stunned, began to cry, overwhelmed by the moment. Talia had found Aurelio's address on a card inside the wallet and decided to return it, along with all its contents. As she handed it back, she hesitated, her gaze falling on a photo she had discovered inside, a picture of a man, a woman, and two small girls. Curiosity and a faint hope sparked in her voice as she asked, "Who are these people?" When Aurelio saw the photo, he broke down in tears. The little girl, unsure of what was happening, stood frozen until Zoe, hearing the commotion, rushed to the door. "Dad, what's going on?" she asked nervously. But the sight of the girl on the porch stopped her in her tracks. Zoe's eyes widened, and without hesitation, she ran to Talia, wrapping her in a fierce embrace. "You're alive!" Zoe cried, tears streaming down her face. "I always knew it. I always believed it." The truth hit Talia like a wave. The girl hugging her wasn't just a stranger, it was her sister. The realization brought tears to her own eyes. This can't be real," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It is," Zoe said, holding her tightly. "You're my Christmas miracle, my twin sister." Camille and Aurelio joined them, pulling both girls into a family embrace. The parents wept with joy and disbelief as years of heartbreak dissolved in an instant. "Thank you, God," Aurelio whispered, gazing at the stars. Camille echoed his gratitude, still unable to believe the moment was real. They brought Talia inside, eager to unravel the mystery of her disappearance. Slowly, the pieces of her story came together. Years earlier, during Aurelio's rise to prominence in the pharmaceutical industry, his family had become targets. Criminals broke into their home, aiming to steal the formula for his groundbreaking painkiller. When they couldn't find it, one of the intruders took baby Liana as leverage. However, the gang leader, enraged by the botched operation, ordered the child's abandonment. The kidnapper, fearing capture, left the baby in a desolate alley, where a kind-hearted homeless couple found and raised her, naming her Talia. For years, the Alistar family searched in vain, unaware of how close fate would bring them back together. On the eve of Christmas, the simple act of Talia returning a wallet reunited a family torn apart by tragedy. That night, they celebrated not just the holiday, but the miracle of being whole once again. Aurelio, wanting to create a special memory, convinced his family to celebrate Christmas together. The three of them, Aurelio, his wife Camille, and their daughter Zoe, decided to do something they hadn't done in years: go grocery shopping together to prepare a holiday feast. With their cart full of festive ingredients, they returned home ready to cook and decorate. Aurelio, reminiscing about his humble beginnings, decided to dismiss their household staff for the evening. In a simple gesture, he took out the trash himself. Unknowingly, as he tossed the food scraps into the garbage bin, his wallet slipped from his pocket. Little did he realize that this small oversight would set into motion a life-changing event. Later that evening, the universe's grand design would bring forth an unexpected miracle: the reunion of a lost girl with her family. The emotional meeting was beyond anything they had dreamed. The girl was welcomed back with open arms and given the name Talia Alana Alistar, finally feeling what it meant to be part of a loving family. Yet, the story didn't end there. Aurelio, deeply grateful to the homeless community that had cared for his daughter, supported Talia in founding an organization dedicated to helping people experiencing homelessness rebuild their lives. The initiative became a resounding success, transforming countless lives. Over time, Talia reconnected with some of her former street companions, extending a hand to help them rise above their circumstances. Her efforts reflected not only gratitude but a determination to give others the second chance she had been given. From that Christmas onward, the Alistar family celebrated the holiday with unmatched joy and unity. Their story became a testament to the power of faith, hope, and love, particularly on the most magical night of the year. If this heartwarming tale touched you, don't miss the next inspiring video on your screen. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and activate notifications so you never miss our upcoming stories. See you in the next emotional journey.